You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Before we jump in, if acting is a thing that you just simply cannot stop thinking about, if you've been working so hard, showing up to auditions, but still not getting cast as often as you know you could, it's probably not because you're not good enough. It's because you are overthinking. I have seen so many talented, super talented, new and early career actors hold themselves back by living in the head instead of in the moment. And the truth is, it is fixable. And that's why I created the Method Actor Circle, an online membership for new and early career actors who are deadly serious about building real, grounded, castable performances. Inside the Method Actor Circle, you'll get monthly method acting classes, audition coaching, monologue ebooks, business of acting classes, and so much more. And right now, you can try it for a full month for £1 using the code MAC1. So if you're ready to stop overthinking and finally own the stage and set, this is your moment. Head over to the Method Actor Circle at bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle and use code MAC1 to get started. So that link again is bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle, or click underneath where you press play and let's get you cast. As always, I am so excited to dive into today's podcast because we are going to be unpacking auditions, and specifically common audition mistakes and how we can stop this common mistake in its track. I have done a ton of bad, disastrous even auditions, and I'm going to be sharing a story with you of my very first audition out of my professional training for an agency and just how bad it was, so you can learn from my mistakes and you can go into your next audition confident, assured, knowing exactly what you're doing, even if you are very early on with your acting dreams and goals. I struggled with auditions for a very long time, and in all honesty, I absolutely dreaded them. But they're a vital part of an acting career, aren't they? So we've got to be able to get on top of them. And by the end of this episode, I would love for you to be feeling confident, knowledgeable, inspired, and actually really bloody excited for your next or first audition. So my very first audition for an agency was when I was about 21, I think, and it was for a co-op agent, and I'd enlisted the help of an A-list actor who I'd worked with in a film, and it was really bloody exciting to have my first audition for an agent and also to be getting the help of someone who had a successful career. So I was feeling, confident. I was 90% confident, but then inside there was 10% of me that was doubting myself a little bit, if I am being completely honest. And that 10% grew when I got to the place where the audition was. So I arrived really early, as we know we should, probably a little bit too early, and that punctuality, even though it's an asset, actually paved the way for breathing space for those doubts. And that's when that 10% of doubt grew inside my mind and got the better of me. But there was still a part of me that was like, okay, you've trained professionally, you've had the help of an A-list actor, and you've been invited into audition. So, there's got to be some part of you that is good enough. So this is how the audition played out. Another person walked out of the room as I was waiting outside of the room, and then the nerves started to kick in like they skyrocketed. If they were on a level 10, they went to about a level 100. I do believe I was probably putting pressure on myself because that 10% of me not feeling good enough needed to prove to myself that I was good enough. So I was putting pressure on myself, and that was amplifying the nerves. I got into the audition room, and because it was a co-op agency, which means it's run by actors, there was a lot of actors in the room, like a hell of a lot. I felt swamped, if I'm being completely honest. There was me and then all of them. They started asking me questions. They asked me about my career plans, the kind of roles that I wanted, where I saw myself in the industry, all the usual questions that an agent would ask you. And I answered them. And then they asked me what pieces I was doing, and I'd had to prepare 2 monologues. So I introduced the first piece, which was a Stephen Berkoff piece, very, very physical, very working class. And you know what? It suited me. Like, I'd got the casting type right for this. They'd given us, or I say us, they'd given me choice over what I brought to them. And this is where it started going really bloody bad. So I got inside my own head, and I had this sort of disassociation. It was almost like I could see myself acting from outside myself. It's like I wasn't even in my own body. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but now I know it's disassociation. Now I know it's like my nervous system had been triggered, and I was highly nervous, and my body had gone into fight or flight. I didn't know that then, because none of this stuff was taught in my professional training. And it's one of the things that I love to dig deep with my acting students, because I think as soon as we've got the knowledge on nerves, what's happening, where they're coming from, we can get in control of them. So I had this disassociation. And then what happened is, because I was nervous, and you might have experienced this yourself, I became hyper aware of everything that was going on. So I was in a state of arousal. Again, that's because I'm in fight or flight. So I was really aware of what everyone, all the other actors in the panel were doing. And I think it was either 2 or 3 of them turned round and turned their back to me. And in my head, I told myself a story of, they've done that because I'm crap, I'm not good enough. And the piece was just an absolute disaster. It was like wading through mud, or quicksand even. Quicksand is a better analogy, actually. It was like wading through quicksand. I was just completely stuck in it, paralysed. I was going through the motions, but not really generating any genuine feeling, not connected to the character. I was literally in my head, overthinking. The mental tension was so loud, it was crazy. And the nerves were just making all sorts of weird and wonderful things happen in me, such as the hyperarousal, which is hyper-awareness, and the disassociation. And essentially, when you're in that state of nervousness, you are just fighting to get to the end of the monologue. You are in survival mode. So I was pretty much in survival mode, and I felt terrible after it. Like really, really, really terrible. I knew I'd done a bad job. I knew I wasn't going to get offered representation. And then when this A-list actor who'd coached me through it, who I'd worked with before, they asked me about it, and I just felt so embarrassed and so ashamed. But here's the thing, in my professional training, I hadn't had method acting coaching, and I hadn't had empathetic coaches or directors. And that makes a huge difference. And I also wasn't loaded up on understanding the nervous system and the mechanics of nerves. And it's really important as actors that we do know that, because nerves do get the better of us. Even the most seasoned actor, they get the better of us at some point or another. But when we understand them and have knowledge and know they cannot have a grip of us, and we have the exercises and tools to deal with them, then they don't become an issue. But in this audition, they had become a huge issue for me. If I was to go back to my younger self and do that audition again, I know exactly what method acting tools I'd be using. I look back at it now and I go, well, you know what, actually, I needed that disastrous audition because it taught me a lot. I learned a lot from it. But I have to say, the embarrassment and the stories I was telling myself around how much of a failure I was lasted for a very, very, very long time. But now, as I am, the age that I am, the wisdom, the experience that I've picked up now, I would actually go back to that audition piece and I would go, you know what? You have earned your place in that room, firstly. I would work on my mindset firstly. That is the first thing. Because you might have heard me say before in previous episodes, but your success is dependent on your mindset. So mindset contributes to 80% of your success. The other 20% is the skills and the talent that you've got. So I would reframe all of those negative stories and negative beliefs and tell myself, girl, you have earned your place in that room. Number one, okay, you've not had the training that worked for you, but you have trained and you've committed, you've had professional training. Secondly, you've had the help of an A-list actor who you'd worked with in a film prior to that audition. And thirdly, you have a goal and a vision for yourself with your acting, just like all the other actors, and you are just as worthy as them to be in that room. And there's obviously something about you that this agency has seen to even call you into the room in the first place, because if they didn't want you, they wouldn't have you in the room. So I would really work on my mindset and my limiting beliefs and the negative stories that I was telling myself. The second thing I would do is I would absolutely have learned about the nervous system and how nerves affect performances and all the mechanics of nerves. And then I would have practiced the method acting chair relaxation exercise every single day religiously for a minimum of 20 minutes. Because that exercise, which I didn't learn in my professional training, it took me to do method acting training for me to learn this, but that exercise alone is a life changer. And it's something that I get my students to do every single day, because even if they don't have auditions around the corner, they've got nothing lined up, no productions lined up, what they are doing by doing this exercise every single day is they are training their body to know that anything to do with acting is safe and it is not dangerous. And they are training their nervous system to stay calm so they can access their imagination. Because there are two things that disappear when you are nervous, and that is your pure imagination and your memory. So that means you are then prey to losing lines and disconnecting from the character. And I do feel like I did lose some lines in that performance of that Stephen Burkoff monologue. I can't quite remember, but I feel like I did, and I feel like that also threw me as well, because then I was just scrambling for lines. So I then, as I've said, I would work on the method acting chair relaxation exercise. And then what I would have done is used two other method acting exercises, rampaging and personalisation, because they get you into the energy, purpose and emotions of the character. And when you use those exercises, and you can do them in your head, once you've mastered them physically, you can do them in your head and they work so quickly. Nobody knows you're using them. But what they do is they get you into that headspace of the character, the heart space of the character, which is where the emotions are, and also the purpose and energy of the character. So I would have used them. Now, it might seem like I'm saying I would do a hell of a lot. There's 4 things that I've said I would have done if I could go back in time and do the audition again. But once you master these exercises, so we've got the mindset firstly, reframing everything, telling yourself a better story. Then we've got the methods chair relaxation, then we've got rampaging and then personalisation. But once you master them, you can literally do them in short spaces of time to a very good standard. So I know now that before an audition, I can use either rampaging or personalisation, and I can do them in my head so nobody knows I'm doing anything. And I can then get a character connection in less than 1 minute because I've practiced them that much. And when you use these method acting exercises, you too will be able to make such quick character connections and genuine ones. And then an amazing byproduct is that you feel really good. You feel worthy of being in that audition room, because no matter what happens, you're unaffected. So even if you get a no, you're unaffected by the no. So whether you're offered representation or not, you know you're going to leave something positive in that room, and you know that you will just keep getting better and better and better for future auditions. And that's what I want for you. I want you to feel good whether you get a yes or a no. So those are the 4 things to stop you from comparing yourself to others, telling yourself you're not good enough, and giving you a hard time. Those are the 3 common audition mistakes that new and early career actors make, and even well-seasoned actors actually, because it only takes one bad experience for those mind monkeys and that mental tension to come out in full force. I love these exercises because they're so much fun to do as well. And there is nothing like stepping into a character and forgetting everything and living fully through the role and feeling everything they would feel and experiencing everything they would feel. It's just such a buzz, isn't it? That's why it's called getting the bug. You get the bug with acting, and it is so addictive. And I love coaching these exercises as well, because the difference in actors from before they know the exercise to after is incredible. It's like a completely new person. And I coach these exercises inside the Method Actor Circle, and I am inviting you to come and join and try out these exercises for £1. So we've got an incredible offer on, which is trying out the Method Actor Circle and unlocking full access to everything in there for 1 month for £1. It's just insane. You will come out of that month a completely different actor. So it's a combination of pre-recorded classes. We've got audition technique classes, character development, method acting workshops. We've got monologue ebooks in there. We've got business of acting classes, how to write cover letter, workshops. We've got all those pre-recorded that you can watch on demand as many times as you want to soak up all of the knowledge. And then we also have live classes where you can get that hands-on practical coaching from me as well. And for £1, it is an absolute no-brainer. So all you need to do is use the code MAC1 at checkout, and the place to go and use that and unlock access is bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle. I'll see you in there. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors Handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.